The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being on today's call. Today's members-only webinar is how to use Facebook to promote group cruises. And this is a really, really exciting topic, and it's one that can help you grow your business exponentially and without costing any money or very little money. So this content is for all current 2017 CLIA members, whether you are an individual agent member of CLIA or a travel agency member. This content is relevant to you. And thank you all for being here. We are recording the content so that at the end of the call, we're going to send you a link to where you can download this information. So don't worry about writing fast. We'd rather have you thinking about what is important to you and asking us great questions. Please do use the questions module, questions field as part of the GoToWebinar panel to enter your questions. And we've got a few hundred people that have registered for today's call. So we're going to get to as many questions as we possibly can. I'm Sylvia. I am your Vice President of Membership and Trade Relations. We've got my contact information up there. Please feel free to reach out to me if there's anything you think I should know, any ideas you have, any points of view. We want to hear it all. And also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram because I'm constantly posting photos with travel agency and agents and cruise line leaders and some great content for you to share as well. Joining us today is our own key opinion leader, our guru when it comes to social media and digital content. Are you there, Sarah?
I'm here. I love that I'm your digital guru.
You are. Sarah Todd-Evans is our manager of social media and digital content.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be joining everybody. We've done this webinar once before, and it was a really good time, so I'm happy to be here today. And I will also be at Cruise 360. I have to totally put in a plug for my classes, Charlie. So anyway, I will be at Cruise 360
Absolutely.
Teaching several classes, including Social Media 101, 201, and 301. So hopefully I will see a bunch of you there live in Fort Lauderdale at Cruise 360 this year.
And you know what, Sarah, I hear that your classes last year at Cruise 360 in Vancouver were among the highest rated. So this is really valuable.
They were, I'm not going to lie, they were. I was pretty proud of that.
well, we're glad you're here. And ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, this is going to be more of a conversation. And so do use that questions module or questions field because you can actually control what we do as we make our way through the webinar. And you know who else is going to be in Fort Lauderdale next week for Cruise 360? None other than Danielle Haney, membership specialist, and what I call the foundation of this department. Are you there, Danielle?
I am. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here and help ask your questions.
Beautiful. And if one of the folks on the call could please put into the chat box that you can hear us, you can all hear us. We want to make sure the audio is working, and I think someone has. Good. So Danielle's going to facilitate the questions and help us throughout the presentation, so not just at the end. So the goals today are, and feel free to help me out with this, Sarah, the goals are to gain a practical understanding of how to use Facebook, create a Facebook event to promote a group cruise. Sarah, you can take it from here.
We want to learn how to captivate, attract, engage, and activate prospective clients into booking using your Facebook event. It's a very lovely way of simply saying we want to help you guys make more business, and this is a really great way to do that. So hopefully you'll learn some new things, some ways to engage with your groups and to find new people. And then we also want to help you build a community of loyal followers for your group cruises, present and future. The hope is folks are going to get engaged, they're going to follow you, and therefore, you know, they go on one cruise, but as you all know, when someone goes on one cruise, they want to keep going on them. So hopefully this doesn't just lead you one booking, but leads you many more to come. It's always our goal.
And don't you think, Sarah, that building these communities, by doing it on Facebook, you give the clients, the prospects and clients, an opportunity to feel like they're a part of something almost exclusive?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that I always like to say is that social media really is literally what you all do every single day, which is have conversations and build relationships, and it's simply that translated online. So it's giving you this online way of doing everything that you know and do all the time, which is those person-to-person connections that help build those relationships. This is just one way of doing it on a broader scale, but it doesn't lessen that personalization or that feeling of community or feeling like you know your client. It just helps you build with that. And so I think it's key to really engaging with those folks and getting them to feel like you know them, you know their best interests, and you really should be the person booking their next vacation.
And it's also a great opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, for you to make them feel really, really special. Because I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I posted on American Airlines. I sent them a tweet, or actually, I posted a tweet that said how much I love American Airlines. Guess what? They followed me, and they sent me a direct message and gave me a code for a free Wi-Fi on my next flight.
Good.
They were so grateful. But that made me feel so special. So let's get into this, shall we? But that's just a real-life example of how, even though you're reaching out to thousands of people, tens of thousands of people through social media, you really have the opportunity for unique, exclusive, and special engagements. So let's hope that all the systems work. We're going to go right into Facebook. And again, this is going to be more of a conversation. We're going to build this with you and show you how to do this. And again, your input can be directly translated into this presentation. So what we've done here is Sarah and I, earlier today, we created this pretend travel agency, and we called it ABC Cruise Travel. And so this is exactly what your page looks like. And some of you might already have a Facebook page for your travel career. And actually, we should probably hit that poll, Sarah, don't you think?
I think we should.
Poll. There is a poll. You think it's a good time to do it? Yeah.
Heck yeah, let's do it. Do you want me to push go, or do you want to?
Here we go. I'm just launching it right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want at least 70% of you to vote on this. So we're going to keep this up until we hit 70%. We're at 51% right now. That's fantastic. 62% of you, 64, and 72. All right, so we'll close the voting right now.
I love that we can get that live data.
Oh, yeah, and share it with you all. So just looking at it, 85% of you are already using Facebook to promote yourself as a travel professional. So that's fantastic. And 2% of you aren't, but no despairing there, because we're going to show you how to. And 13% not yet, but want to. So that's fantastic. So without further ado, let's head on over back to Facebook. All right, there we go. So this is our Facebook page for our pretend travel agency. And what we're looking to do here is, now the assumption is obviously that this is an existing page and that we have somewhat of a community built, but we're looking to help grow that community and create this event for the group cruise. So if you could use your chat box or questions box and type in the type of group, I think that we're going to create a group, and it's going to be a promotional group, maybe starting out. Obviously, we know that there are two types of groups. There are the affinity groups, which are typically pre-organized, and the affinity groups are groups like the Lions Club, or a group of teachers, or maybe a knitting group, or some wine enthusiasts, or a car club, or any type of group like that that share a common affinity. But this isn't going to be an affinity group that we try today. Today we're going to do a promotional group, and one that speaks to anything that you say. So why doesn't someone type in, Danielle, do you see any suggestions for a group?
Sorry, I was on mute. There's one for class reunion. Does that work?
class reunion. That's fantastic. Now, that's kind of like a hybrid. I love that suggestion. So a class reunion is kind of a hybrid group because there is an affinity. Obviously, you all went to either high school or college together. But then there's also the promotional aspect because, let's face it, not everybody is ready to book or ready to go. So I'm actually, you know what, I'll use my high school here, Fairhaven High School. So let's see. I'm not going to tell you how long ago I graduated. So let's create this event, shall we? So here we are on our agency page, or if you are an individual agent, you might have your own page like this. But either way, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, either whether it's an agency or whether it's a business, it's going to have this pretty much the same back end, correct?
Yep. The flow should be about the same. I always encourage people, if you are working as part of an agency, I think it's good to have an agency page itself, but you can create events from your very own profile. I know Charlie has a professional profile that isn't just, cousin's baby pictures. It's for work, and he's out and about at events. If you have something like that, not a problem. You can use it. You can create an event from there as well. We just had a good question that's right on topic from Susan. Says, I've been using my personal Facebook to promote business. Does CLIA have resources to help members set up a business Facebook page? And we absolutely do. We'll have live training. Hopefully, Susan, you can join us in Fort Lauderdale next week. In our 101 class, we teach you how to create that business Facebook page so that you can kind of transition. So rather than mixing business with personal all the time, which some folks like to do, some folks don't, we can help you set up your business page in that course. So it's pretty straightforward and simple, but hopefully you can join us in Fort Lauderdale and take Social 101, and I'll be there and I'll teach you how to do it all.
Perfect. That is a great question. So let's get started, shall we? We're going to create an event for now you can either do it here on the left-hand side where it says events, or they have an icon right underneath the area where you would post called create an event. So now we need to create an event photo. So since it's my school, now what I recommend is that you customize it, and Sarah will be, kind in giving us guidelines while I look for the picture of my school. Sarah,
you make me sound like the police.
Well, no, but still. So here's my high school, Fairhaven High School, and yep, no, not police, but just give them guidelines on using pictures.
Yeah, so using photos is often one of those things that makes everybody nervous. More often than not, when you guys are talking about cruises and you're setting up these group cruises, you're really going to want to grab photos that you receive from the cruise lines. Most cruise lines either have, huge photo galleries on their website, or they're going to have smaller galleries on each page about each ship, destination, itinerary, whatever it may be. There is absolutely no problem grabbing those photos off the cruise line's websites and using them, because you're using them to promote the cruise line. So it's good business for them to let you use those photographs. What I will caution is going just to Google Images and just grabbing anything that you find. I use Google Images a lot. I mean, you just need to do that background research. Like, for instance, Charlie's looking for a picture of his school. He can go to Google and go to Google Images, but instead of just grabbing, the first photo you see, you can tell he's checking the page to see where this photo is coming from, and that's so that he can make sure it's a legitimate source, it's not going to upset anybody. He's pulling it from the school itself, and you're using it to promote a school function. That is very different than someone's copyrighted image that you're pulling and using inappropriately. So it's that fine line between, you don't want to infringe on anybody's, photography rights. You don't want to just screenshot something that you see on Shutterstock. That'll get you into a lot of trouble. But go to those cruise lines, go to those affinity groups, and ask them to use their photos. They're going to be some support, because everything you're doing is to promote them as an organization and promote their business, whatever it might be. So there's lots of resources to find photos. You just want to be very strategic in where you get them, just to make sure you don't end up in hot water. Yeah, but I mean, everything, Charlie, I'm seeing you do is just fine.
Beautiful. I want to make sure because, you know, obviously we want to teach you best practices, ladies and gentlemen, and it's important that, yeah, you are using royalty-free or licensed, non-licensed photos. So I'm going to change the event photo here. I'm going to make this specific event photo, and here it is. I found a picture of my high school that looks okay, and we're going to just drag it in. Here we go.
Your school is much prettier than mine, I will say, Charlie.
Oh my goodness, you're very kind. And then I'm going to put the event name as Fairhaven High School, class of 2003. I'm just kidding. 1986 reunion cruise.
Beautiful.
So that's what I've got, reunion cruise. And then location. Now, somebody out there, please pick a ship. Pick a cruise line and ship that we're going on. Let's see. And the location isn't going to be our travel agency, obviously. It's going to be that cruise. So we're going to say a Caribbean cruise.
Oh, we've got a ton of options. Danielle,
Cruise
what do you think
aboard.
we should pick? There's, oh my Lord, there's a ton.
I think we should pick Holland.
Holland,
Holland,
nice.
America. Caribbean cruise aboard Holland America Lines. Let's say their new ship, Koningsdam.
And you went on that last fall, didn't you?
Yeah, I went on
beautiful.
it. So now we've got to figure out when the cruise is. So obviously you're gonna pick the cruise. So we're gonna go over the Holland America line and we're gonna pick the ship and date. And while I'm doing that, let's see. So we're gonna grab a date. So typically, you know, I can tell you that, like with a class reunion cruise, that typically in November, near Thanksgiving, when people are usually home. So I'm going to look at Caribbean, and I'm going to select a month, November, and I'm going to say a 7-night cruise, and now we're going to search. And if let's see, I don't want that. There we go. Good call to action by Holland America. And so now we're going to scroll down to Koningsdam, actually page 2. I know that she's there because I know she sails there.
Oh, maybe not in November.
Oh, maybe they represent. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe.
You're absolutely right. December. There she is. December. Close and search. Okay, so here's our cruise, and we'll do it the first week of December, or actually we'll make it a New Year's cruise. And so here's the departure, December 27th on Koningsdam. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to go. We're going to put the start date as December 27th. And again, this is very very much an organic thing. So December 27th, 2017. December 27th.
What I like, Charlie, about you doing it this way is folks can really see it's genuinely not hard to build as you go. And that's why rather than us just creating a bunch of slides that show you piece by piece, we want to walk you through this and we want to personalize it to what comes from, you know, the crowd as far as what we should be doing, because this is a very easy tool to use once you learn how to use it. And again, it's all about translating what you do every day, right? Organizing groups on cruises and just putting it in a digital format. So just watching Charlie go through this, change the dates, just, you know, go to Holland's website and find the itinerary. It's very simple tasks that you guys do all the time, but all we're doing is putting them on Facebook in a format that's going to make it really easy for you to market this event. So I'm glad, Charlie, that we keep sticking with this way of build as you go. I think it's the right way to teach people this.
I agree. I mean, it's practical, you know. So the start date is going to be, oh, and I see people are starting to like my cruise travel page that I created. So the start date is obviously on the 27th, right? And so here we go. When do you board a cruise ship? So we're going to put 12 p.m., right, as the start date. And then the end date will be on a week later. And so when do you get off a ship? No later than 9 a.m., right? So we're going to put 9 a.m. And so then we'll publish this. And when we hit publish, it will create the event page within our agency. So now
let's
here
explain
you see
what that
right
means
here.
really quick.
Oh yeah,
really
please,
quick. I want to make sure folks know the difference. So for those of you who already have an agency page, you know your agency page functions very similarly to an individual profile. You can have status updates, you can post things, and they go wherever. An event page, which was just created after we posted this event, is almost like an exclusive page within your overall page. So, and Charlie will show you as we go on that folks can declare that they're going on this, they can declare that they're interested, and when people do that, when they make that selection, they're telling Facebook, I want to see this content. It's important to me. Make sure it shows up in my feed. And so that way you can kind of filter through all of the noise that's going on in social and get right to the people who want to see your things. So having that event page as part of your overall promotional strategy or as part of your overall business page is really key because you're able to target those specifically interested in this event. Does that make sense? I'm hoping I'm translating this well, Charlie.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense to me, and I think to everyone on the call. And so let's take a look at a little bit of what's here. So we've got the cruise, we've got the little tag here. It's a public event. So a public event means that anyone can find this event on Facebook. Now, any Facebook user can find this event by simply using the search Facebook field. Now, you may have other events like family reunions that you can actually host the family reunion cruise event, create a page for it on your travel agency Facebook account that you might want to limit or make it invite only so that it's limited just to the people who are going to be involved in that family reunion cruise. And your organizer, or what we used to call in the business the Pied Piper, will provide you with the names of all the people that you should invite to that event. But first, I actually forgot to put the location. So I'm going to click on Add a Location. And again, this is going to be, the ship departs from Fort Lauderdale, and it's going to be on the MS Koningsdam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Port Everglades as the, and see if you just type it in, Port Everglades is right there, Port Everglades, and the time's right, so just save. And now, once it updates, you'll see Port Everglades, and it shows you the address, and even you can show the map. If you wanted to have a map put there, it shows you the map so they can get there. But of course, you're going to walk them through all of the logistics as part of the wall that you create. The comments wall is your opportunity to share with them everything. And I think the next thing, Sarah, we should do is add an itinerary, don't you?
I absolutely do. I think adding an itinerary serves a lot of great purposes. For one, people who might want to go on this cruise certainly want to know where they're going. Separately, it's great content that you can get. And what Charlie is showing right now is how he's pulling up this larger map. He can either save this as an image or take a screenshot of it. And again, that's perfectly fine. You're using this to promote Holland. They provide this for you because they want you to use it. But it's an example of a really easy place to go to find content so that when you're sharing this event with people, they have something to see. They have something to engage with to start that conversation. So I think it's a really great starting point. Hey, look, Chris is interested.
Awesome. Oh, hey, we have someone interested in already? Fantastic. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put it in as a photo post. So we're going to add the photo, and we're going to go up here. There it is. There's the itinerary. And let's say something. Here's our fabulous Western Caribbean 7-night itinerary.
Perfect.
Boom. And then I'm going to put a call to action. Who's excited? Boom. And I'm going to post it. And then you can view your post in the event. Oh, go ahead. Oh, after you. Sorry. So now this is, this is viewed, but, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so we had that one individual who had selected that they were interested, right? Chris found Charlie's fake travel agency. He saw the event that we posted, and he said, hey, I'm interested in this. What's awesome is that now that Charlie has posted this, it's going to show up in the activity feed for Chris and anybody else who said that they're going or they're interested. Which folks who are, doing a lot on Facebook, not everybody sees everything that you're posting. So this is a really great way to get to those people, make sure things show up in their feed, because again, they've told Facebook, show me this content. I want to see it. It's what I'm interested in. So again, not only are you serving those who haven't yet liked this event, you're serving those who have liked it, and you're keeping them engaged and interested, and you're helping them through that sales funnel to make sure that they eventually book and they go on this trip.
Now, you see the two tabs here, About and Discussion. Naturally, we have a lot more information that we need to share about this cruise. People want to know things like, well, exactly what times are we in the ports? They want to know the itinerary breakdown. They also want to know, how much is this going to cost me, and who do I contact to book? So on the About side, you can actually edit that and add more information. You can do that anytime you want. The Edit feature, sorry, I've got it right here, hold it right there. The Edit feature
No worries.
of the page, you click right there, and it allows you to add more information. So you can actually scroll down. We added the picture, we added the event name, and I put the location and times, but as you scroll down, you can actually add more details. You can select the category. I don't really think it's applicable here, but you can tell people about the event, that it's a 7-night cruise to the Western Caribbean from departing from and returning to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that you've arranged special fares and different value-added amenities. You could have different amenities that you built in, maybe included gratuities or whatever you've contracted with the cruise line, you can promote there. And then depending on whether or not this is open to the public or just to a select group, you can put keywords there, and it'll help other people find this. Tickets, there's not necessarily a ticket. People aren't necessarily buying tickets to the event per se. They're buying passage on the cruise. So, and you can also add co-hosts. Now, this is important because do you remember how, and I'll show you here, you remember how it says that this is a public event and that's hosted by ABC Cruise Travel? Well, that's great. That's your agency. But what if you have a Pied Piper? So what if you have the president of the class of 1986, and Sarah, it was me.
Am I surprised?
So what,
no.
Yeah, well, but what if you have the president of your high school class who is your Pied Piper, who is really that person who's going to act as the face of this event? So that's where you go. You go up to Edit, and you would then create a co-host. So
now let's talk about why that's so good too, because not only is it something that you want to do just to engage that person. I love the phrase Pied Piper. It makes me laugh because, of course, we would use that. Not only do you want to encourage that person and just show that they are engaged, but now that that person is a co-host, it's really easy for them to invite all of their friends to this event. And when it's something like a class reunion, odds are, the first thing people do when they create a Facebook page is find all their high school friends. So odds are this person's connected with all of those individuals that are the exact target market for this cruise. So it's perfect. By making them an organizer, then they can easily click share, pick all of their high school friends off of their friends list, and push it out to them. So not only is it something to do just because it helps build your relationship with that Pied Piper, but it also builds the success of the event because they're sharing it to the exact target market that you're looking for.
So very important. And as you can see, I put myself, my own account, Charles Sylvia ECC, as the co-host of the event. And then, Sarah, could you talk for a moment about the posting aspect?
Absolutely. So right below where you can see Charlie has selected Charles Sylvia as his co-host, you'll see these three options. The first is anyone can post. Reported post must be approved. There's anyone can post. All posts must be approved. And then there's only the host can post. And I want to break down those three differences. When it says anyone can post, reported post must be approved. Basically what that means is anybody who's interested in this event can say whatever they want to on the wall. And then if someone reports it as questionable, then it will be hidden, and until an organizer approves it, it's not going to show up anymore. The second option is pretty much anyone can post whatever they want to, but the host is going to have to go through and approve absolutely everything. And then the third is the tightest way to kind of lock down security, which is to say only a host can post content. There's pros and cons to each. If you are concerned about inappropriate things being posted, maybe it's like a romantic Valentine's Day cruise and you're just not sure the direction that the comments are going to go in, you might want to pick only hosts can post. If it's something like a high school reunion like this one, I recommend going with anyone can post and just have reported posts be approved. The benefit of that is now you're really engaging that community. And when it's something like a church group, a family reunion, a high school reunion, those people want to talk to each other. They want to share the memories. They want to post the photos from prom in 1986 and say who's going to wear their hair like this on formal night. You know, they really want to get involved, and so it's worth it. Can you imagine? I think that would be the best if you do a reunion and you make formal night. Everybody comes with prom gear.
Yeah, my prom song was "You're the Inspiration" by Chicago. So I'm not wearing the
I think it's perfect.
So now everybody,
like that, you want it open.
Exactly,
yeah,
and it's important for you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that when it refers to anyone can post, reported posts must be approved. Again, we're talking about anyone within the group that you designated. So if this is a public event, anyone in the world can, who is a Facebook member can post. But if it is limited to those who are within a certain group, whether it's a family reunion or whatever, by invitation only, then it's anyone within that invited group. So it's important for you to realize that.
So Charlie, we have a couple of comments really quick. Oh, sorry, I was just going to say just a couple of questions that I'm not the best person to answer because I'm not the travel expert that you are. But one of the questions was, if we book exclusive shore excursions for the group, but someone books through another agency, they would not qualify for the excursion. And it's caused problems in the past. So how do you work with this group on booking excursions and making sure everybody is included? I'm not the expert on that, so I wasn't sure how to address it.
Well, that's precisely the reason why to build the community on Facebook, because by doing it on Facebook and creating a community, you've got that communication platform where everyone is able to understand that this group is booked through ABC Cruises and Tours. So everyone within this group is going to be booked through the agency, and you can use the platform to do that. And I'll show you that in just a second. I'm going to first talk about display the guest list. Displaying the guest list is important in this particular case because this is a class reunion cruise. So all of the people who presumably who are going to be on this cruise, with the exception of spouses and significant others, are they all know one another. So they certainly want to be able to see who's invited and who's going. So in this case, we're going to keep display guest list checked. However, if this was a wine group, a group of wine enthusiasts, and maybe you know, they don't know one another or what have you, you might not want to display the guest list. But in most cases, display the guest list is usually the option.
I agree, and really, and this sounds, I don't know how to phrase this in a way that doesn't sound bad, but you know, sometimes peer pressure is a good thing, horrible as that sounds. So, you know, by displaying that guest list, your potential attendees see who else is going to the event, and they can realize, oh, my 4 best friends from high school are going, I should go too. And that can help you a lot in situations where people are connected. But I agree, you know, if you're doing an event for a group that is not really connected but just have similar interests, you might want to keep that private. So it really does the situation.
Now you see how it's changed? It's still a public group, but it's hosted by the class president and by ABC Cruise Travel. So now there's more control over it. You have dual control over the page. The dates are all updated, the location. We actually have 3 people interested already.
Fabulous. Well, I know why, because as Chris Graham, who is interested, said in the questions, we all want to see Charlie's bright powder blue tux. This is why.
Oh my!
Inquiring minds want to know.
If only that picture had been digitized. I wish it had.
Here, Charlie, we have another great question. Oh,
Sure.
Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, well, no, I wanted to address that concern about the call to action. So you can simply, so we've got our itinerary in there. Remember, we put all of the information on the full itinerary, the complete itinerary in the About section, as well as meet-in pricing and all the amenities that we've got included and any special occasions that we're going to have, you know, special. Now, it's important for you to understand that the way to drive all the business to your agency is by making a program of events. So if you have an onboard program of events that is exclusive for those who are booked in this group through ABC Cruise Travel, then, and remember, you get the what's called the gap points, the group amenity points. So you can use gap points toward a private cocktail reception on board with hors d'oeuvres and open bar for a certain amount of time. You could have a wine tasting. You could have a galley tour. You could have any conceivable thing. There's obviously built-in things that are built by the cruise lines that you can offer as programmatic group-only events, and then there are custom things that can be created depending on the size and scope of your group. So that is the type of stuff that not only goes in the About, and of course About is blank here because we didn't populate it, but could also go on your wall. So you could literally put something about a shore excursion that you're all going on together. But it's important to continually make certain that there's a call to action, whether it is, and you don't want it always to be a commercial call to action, because we don't want this to be...
Thank you. I was just about to jump in.
Yeah,
you don't want it to be too salesy. I mean, right. You're making sales, but you don't, nobody wants to be spoken to constantly about book right now. You know what I mean? That's not how you're going to convince people to go on your cruise. But when you share all of the exciting excursions you have lined up and the dinners and specialty dining that you have set up and just the memories and the things that, the amazing time that people can have on this cruise, that is going to incentivize them more to book than just saying, oh, and if you book now, it's $25 cheaper. You know, nobody wants to be around that all the time. Remember that this is just a place to have that conversation. And the way that you conduct yourself in a conversation is how you want to conduct yourself here. And I highly doubt all of you are constantly talking about the latest deal all the time. You're talking about your love of cruising and the Caribbean and how amazing the clothing sound is. And there's lots to talk about that's more than just sales that can still help you make that sale. We had another great question, which was how do they contact the agency? And we must have just kind of skimmed over that part, but in everything that you do, your contact information is included. So because this is an agency's page that's hosting the event, their phone number, their website, their email address, all of their information is included on the page, and you can include it in the About section of this event itself. So it's really easy for them to find your contact information, to reach out and say, hey, I want to go on this cruise. Or because the wall is open for anybody to post, they can simply comment on the event, sign me up, you know, where do I send my deposit? And then you as the organizer can reach out and say, great, we're happy to have you. Here's where you can send everything. You know, let's get in touch and we'll get you all booked up. So the nice thing about this being that digital conversation where everything's going on this online platform is that you can easily comment to people. You can easily respond and really sign them up, you know, if you will, to book to bring you their deposit. Oh my God, Charlie, what is going on the screen right now?
Well, I was I wanted to put something on there. So do you see where we went? I created a post that said, we're going to create our prom on board Koningsdam at our special cocktail party in the Crow's Nest. You must be booked through ABC Cruises to be a part of this special event. Does anyone remember our prom's official song? So that's the kind of thing, and you can take it. You can take an image. Perfect. This is from Pinterest, so this is a non-licensed photo. And all I did was Google 80s prom photos. Again, if this is a golf thing, you can put a golf. There's nothing that you can't do here, as long as you're following the right protocol. And so I mean, it's just. Sorry, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to.
You got one step ahead because I was distracting you. It's my fault.
No,
that
that's
photo
no
is amazing. And it's a beautiful example of how you can post things to keep folks engaged about things you never would have imagined you would share for a cruise, like a 1985 photo of prom.
Well, that's just it. And do you see, I mean, we're obviously creating a commercial event here, and we're doing business. But the bottom line is you have the opportunity to make this very personal, very engaged, tight community. And assuming that this is the picture from one of the people who's attending, but get the point. There's also
I think it's great.
Let's talk about creating a poll. Now, creating a poll is really cool. So now we're going to, let's see, we're going to go to the Cayman Islands, Cozumel, and Key West. Oh, and Half Moon Key, which is their private island. So let's talk about Key West for a second. Here we go. Perhaps you could say, when we're in Key West, or when we're in sunny Key West.
Even better.
What's everyone looking forward to most? And then you could put poll options in there and say maybe walking down Duval Street.
I was thinking that whole other direction of a nice cool beverage with a little umbrella. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You know, I'm going to Hemingway's house to see the cats.
We have very different travel styles, Charlie. Clearly.
I agree with you, Sarah.
Yeah, where's our beach time? Where's our...
Having a cool beverage, and people watching.
Thank you. There it is.
So you catch my drift, and you can add as many options as you want, and see. Look, this is asked only of the Fairhaven High School class of 1986 people, and then the poll options are allow anyone to add options. So you probably want to do that so that you can have people add in, and hopefully Chris Grum will add an option, or anyone else who's interested in this event, or allow people to choose multiple options. So yeah, let's have them be able to do both. And
let's
then
go for it.
And then the poll comes
the dialogue. Up. Yeah, and just as you were doing this, you know, you've got you talking about, you know, some of the more, I don't know, let's call them fancy options available in Key West. And then you have Danielle and I who just want to hit the beach with a cool beverage in our hand. The cool thing is you started that conversation, and you did it with one post that gets that dialogue going, that still puts a smile on everybody's face and makes them want to go to Key West. That's how you're going to sell this to these people, because you're really helping them imagine themselves on vacation, and it's that feeling of escape that you get even from something as simple as a poll that is going to help guide them through that booking process. So I think it's great.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's not just words, it's not just imagery, it's not just polls, it's video too. I mean, let's face it. You can go to YouTube, and or you could put in Koningsdam into Google, and then go over to videos and pick the video that you like the most on Koningsdam. One that's preferably not hampered by licenses. Usually the one that's posted by Holland America.
Yep, go for it on YouTube.
I've got to find it. Let's see. Live vote. I know, you know who does amazing ones is right here, Popular Cruising, and I know that's a public domain. So can we use that one, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, and the great thing is, so when you click on that and you grab the link, Yep, when you post a link, one of the things with the video that I really like, especially when you're posting that URL from YouTube, is that it still is going to live on YouTube. The video isn't just going to like move from YouTube to Facebook, but that's great because the credit will still go to Popular Cruising who created the video, right? Like if anybody clicks on it, they're able to go to the YouTube channel, so you're not going to get into any trouble with someone being upset that you're stealing their copyrighted content by any means. You're bringing them more of an audience, and you're sharing this great video with your audience. So it's a really great way of getting that content, getting video, which is the best kind of content you can ever have online. Video performs better than anything. And you're sharing it with your event group. So you're really kind of hitting it out of the park with something like this.
So now you can either highlight the URL up here in the URL field and right-click and hit copy, or you can click share and copy it right there. And
Yep,
then you
both work. Yep. Mm-hmm.
close the window and go over. And all you're going to do is you're going to put it directly into the right something. So just right-click, hit paste, and look at that. It builds a preview right there. And you can actually even kill the URL.
Yep, deleting that URL. Yep, so it's going to make your post look even prettier. So he's going to delete that URL and just say something. You can do something as simple as, you know, loving, sharing, or check out this fantastic video, you know, on Koningsdam. And it doesn't have to say a lot, but you're sharing a great piece of information that is really going to be helpful.
Boom, posted.
Awesome.
So is this stuff helping folks? Please use the comment panel and you know, is this making a difference? We want to make certain that you understand how to do this. Let's see, are we getting, oh good feedback. Yep,
we are good.
Oh,
okay, good. And we've had a couple of questions of folks who have come on late. I'm asking if this will be recorded. Yep, we're recording the whole thing, and Danielle's going to help us figure out how to email it to everybody when we're done, so you can always go through. Charlie is fantastic, and he is great at explaining everything, but you can always watch it again if you think you missed a step. So that can be really helpful. But, you know, at the end of the day, this really goes back to those goals that really are helping you create this online area to have the conversation, to do what you do every day, but that can help bring in more business from a different medium. And it's pretty darn affordable. Speaking of Charlie, let's talk about advertising for just a second.
Oh,
so
perfect.
Folks always, oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you could talk about sharing the event. Now that it's all built, how we can share it. And then we can go into paid advertising.
Mm-hmm. So for this circumstance, I think we should treat it as if you are the Pied Piper. You are Charles Sylvia, the president of the class of 1986. So you are an organizer on this event. The event has been fully set up by ABC Cruise Travel because they're making it really easy for them. So then you're going to scroll to the top of this event and see that share button. The reason why I think it's fantastic for you as Charles Sylvia, class president of 1986, to share this is you can really easily click that invite friends. And then you can pick which friends you are going to send this event to. Now, one of the amazing things about Facebook is it's going to filter things as you go. So it might suggest just your close friends. It might suggest just your friends from Rhode Island. It might suggest just your friends from the class of 1986. So that can really help you. Or you can just scroll down your list of friends and pick and choose who may or may not be interested in this. Yeah, see, look, I knew you would be part of a group. Select all and send it all out, and it's done in a really easy step. Your Pied Piper is hand delivering this event to everyone who might be a potential attendee, and that can easily translate into bookings because you have that endorsement from someone already in the group, and you're making it really easy for them to share this information. So I think the share tool is incredibly valuable when it comes to these events, especially when they're those kind of more personal events where it's not just, you know, a big category. It's those family reunions. It's those high school reunions. It can really make a big difference. So I think this is where you involve that other leader that you have involved in your event, and you really encourage them to share it out. Your other options are share in Messenger, which is just a private Facebook Messenger. It's a little bit more of a private way to share the event. and then share in news feed. Now, when you share in your news feed, you're not sending it to any one individual in particular. You're sending it to anyone who follows you on Facebook. So if you're doing, say, like a wine cruise or a golf cruise or something that's a little bit more open, I would encourage you to share it on your news feed, because you're going to reach just kind of a shotgun approach, reach a wide set of eyes of folks who may be interested in your event, you know, and it's not quite as personal as that individual invitation, but it can make a really big difference. Does that help a little bit with the share tool, Charlie?
Big time, big time. And don't forget that you can also, all the folks that are interested in your group, you can also communicate with them through Facebook Messenger as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you could send out a message that says, hey, you know, we are, you know, 3 passengers away from, or 4 passengers away from having 100 people on our group. Special this weekend, if you refer someone in, we'll send flowers to your stateroom and theirs this weekend only, you know, and create these calls to action so that you can help build the group.
Yeah. A couple of great questions came in. Yeah, no, there's a handful of really, really good ones. Some just are filling me with glee, which is asking if I'm going to be around doing more trainings. So selfishly, that makes me happy. I'll be at Cruise 360. So far, no other live trainings in sight, but we know that technology is a place that we need to be spending more time. So I'm working with our professional development team to see if we can do more. So that answers that. Another great question is, if you make it a newsfeed share, how do you get them to the page? Well, when you share this on your newsfeed, it shares it from the actual event. All folks need to do is click on that shared post, and they're going to end up on the page. So it's really easy because it's connecting everything. What is going on? People are engaged. They're interested. Oh, my word. Yep.
This is precisely what we want to have happen. We've got
stylish.
And this is engagement. Let me see. Did I like it as the right person? Yes, I did. Right. I liked it as ABC. I want to make sure I did that. Oh, look at this. This is the class song. Look at that. That's fantastic. Boom. This is engagement, ladies and gentlemen. You see, right here, you control. You put. I was liking and commenting as myself. So it's either could be me personally, me professionally, or if you also own the agency, you'll have control over the agency. So I'm liking as my professional page. I just liked Mike's post and Chris's, and I absolutely love this.
Okay, a couple more great questions. One is,
sure,
do you want to add the fare or leave it blank? Now, we have kind of talked through this on another, I guess it was the other webinar that we held on this, which was talking about, do you want to include pricing? I think yes. And the reason why is because this is your portal to share as much information as possible. That said, I don't think you have to give away everything. So I think any introductory rate, maybe you're talking an interior room without any specialty dining, you can put pricing starts at, and you put that amount. Because people need to know if it's even in the realm of possibilities for them in their budget. So I think in the About section, when you're describing the event, it's a great place to say, here's where pricing starts, give me a call, we'll work something out, you know? And I don't think that that is going to turn people off. I think that it's really beneficial for them to see, you know, if this is something that they can do or not, because you also don't want to kind of feel as if you're bait and switch offering things to people, right? Exactly. You don't want to sell them on this cruise and then have them just brokenhearted that they can't afford it at the end of the day. So I think it's really good to be as transparent as possible and to share that introductory fare. That said, maybe don't share the suite pricing. You know, you don't want to scare people away. So I think it's a good place to start. Another really good question from Kenneth, for a home-based travel agent who's not tech-savvy enough to do all these wonderful things on Facebook, is trial and error the primary teacher? He also has a Marketing for Dummies book. Will this help me, or is there something better? Kenneth, I think that the number one thing that you're doing is trying, and that is the best thing. Joining this webinar, your Facebook Marketing for Dummies is totally going to help you out. I think you're on the right track. Trial and error, while it doesn't have to be your primary teacher, it's really a pretty low-risk place to go. Create an event It doesn't have to be real, but just practice. You can always delete it when you're done if you wanted to. Another great choice is if you're able to come to some of our live trainings, there's a lot of fantastic classes available. I teach a bunch on Facebook, but we also have some just for other marketing in general that are really great to sign up for. But I think the number one thing when you're talking about the digital space, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, is that you need to not be afraid. These tools are created to try and be as easy to use as possible. Does that mean that they're easy to use? Not always, but they're trying. So don't feel nervous about just going in, giving it a shot, click around, see what you can do, and you're going to learn a lot that way. It's probably not going to teach you as quickly as, say, taking a course, but it's something that you can do on your own time with a pretty low risk. So I always recommend just dive in and give it a shot. When I don't know, sometimes Facebook comes out with new stuff that I don't know how to do, so I just play around with it, and then you'll figure it out and make it part of your life. So it's a really good way to go. Oh, Walter, can you delete the event? Yes, you can, which is essential when yes, it's essential when you're practicing, because everybody knows when you're practicing, sometimes you mess up and you need to start over. I don't recommend deleting the event if you have people going. I think by then you should just keep it. But yeah, say you create a test event and you practiced and now you feel comfortable making a real one. Yes, you can delete it. All you need to do is go to your page in the events section. And yeah, Charlie, do you mind? I don't want to actually delete this one because it's great training, but I do want to show them how they can. So if you, oh, there it is. All he did was click on the About or Edit Event, and then you'll see Cancel Event right at the bottom. All you need to do is click that. Plain and simple, you can get rid of it. Like I said, it's true once something's online, it's always online, but I will say it's really easy to get rid of stuff on Facebook if you need to. So it's a really safe place to practice. Really quickly, I know we only have about 4 minutes left. Can I just say one more thing? I know I always get in trouble because I always say too much. We didn't get a big opportunity to talk about boosting the event or putting any paid advertising. If you're interested in advertising, we go over that again at Cruise 360 in some of our live training. But if you're comfortable boosting the event, I recommend it for this. I wouldn't spend any more than, say, $15, $20 because, you don't need a ton to promote it, but it's a really great way of getting more eyes on your event. If this just scared everybody because they are not even ready to start talking about paying for advertising, don't worry. Ignore what I just said and just start practicing learning how to do an event. Don't worry about boosting. But if you're ready to go to that next level, by all means, I recommend boosting events. I think that they can really bring you some return on your money. So it's a good way to go. That's all. And then I promise I'm done, Charlie.
No, not at all. You just brought up something excellent a couple of minutes ago on the pricing. And what I wanted to say is Sarah is exactly right. So the pricing is determinant upon your group. So if you have a wine a group of people who go to the same wine bar or vineyard or have an affinity for a very high-end wine shop, then, start with the least expensive balcony stateroom for 2 people. If it's a younger group, maybe kids that just got out of college or something like that, start with an interior stateroom lead-in pricing. Choose your lead-in pricing based on what you think is going to be the average demand for the average category demand within the entire group.
Great advice. Really great advice.
Danielle, any other questions you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, we have a bunch of questions. I know we're not going to have time to answer them all, so if your question hasn't been answered, please feel free to shoot me an email, and I can definitely work with Sarah and Charlie to get those answered for you. So just a couple of quick ones. One, is it possible to delete the event? And I believe you can delete it at any time, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
we just covered that. You can delete it by simply going to the event page and then hitting edit. And then right here in the bottom says cancel event. And that will delete the event and all of its content, all of the posts, everything.
Perfect. And let's see if I can get a couple of more in really quickly. Again, the webinar will be circulated as a recording once we're finished. So let's see, Barry asked, how much content should you put on before you have people interested or going?
Sarah,
That's a great question.
Lean on you for that one.
Yeah, so really what the question is how much should you preload on your event before you start pushing it out to everybody, right? So before I tell, Charlie, hey, share this with everybody from your graduating class. I think you want a few things, maybe include the itinerary and perhaps a video off of YouTube, but I don't recommend putting all of your great content on before you share it. And the main reason why is because some folks might not go and look at past content, right? You want a few things there to let people have a general idea about what the event is about, but you want to make sure you're able to, for say 6 weeks in a row, you want to be able to post 1 or 2 things a week and not run out of content. And the reason why is because once I say I'm interested, anytime that event has something new posted, I'm going to see that in my feed. And it's going to re-energize me and keep me interested and move me one step closer down that sales funnel, if you will. So I would make sure you have a few things on there. I think the itinerary is hugely important because it really tells you a lot about the cruise. But keep a few things in your back pocket. Make sure that you're still going to be able to keep chatting away at folks for the next couple of weeks as you hopefully get all of those bookings. Because it's really about keeping them engaged, getting people talking, getting them excited and dreaming about their next vacation that I think is going to get them to translate into bookings overall.
Well, Sarah, Danielle, I have about 5 cruise line CEOs that are on the other line waiting for me to join the conference call. So I'd like to thank everyone who has been on the call today. We can continue this conversation. You can feel free to send questions to either myself or to Sarah Todd-Evans, our manager of social media and digital content, or to Danielle Haney, our membership specialist. On behalf of the entire team here at CLIA, thank you so much for your time. And good luck, everybody. Use Facebook for group promotion. It works, and it will drive more business your way. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you at Cruise 360 next week. Bye.
See you next week. Bye-bye.